maybe get some housing in West Berkeley in the industrial areas, live workspace. I mean, there's been all these, people who want to live work, welders and artists and stuff like that. But I calculated that it could be very profitable for people. Very profitable. Condos could sell for like $200,000 or $300,000, and that's freaking really affordable. So, okay, thank you, bye.
Hi, I want to first thank our council member, Ben Bartlett, and our mayor, Jesse Harrigan, for having this. This is wonderful that we all have a forum and we get to speak what we think. I live on the Berkeley corridor, the I-line corridor. I'm the president of South Island Cooperative Homes. And we have 57 units there that have been there for 40 years, and we're 100% subsidized. But as Jesse mentioned, and other people have alluded to, public housing is really under attack. In our units, we are about 80% African American. We have a very stable group of people there, but we've seen many people suffer in public housing around the world, and particularly in the United States, and particularly under the Trump administration. And under Carson, his Secretary for Housing, horrible suggestions. Really what they want to do is to eliminate any kind of subsidies for housing. I'm president of the board of Savo Island. I can't speak for the board members, but I have a lot of connections with HUD. I talk to them all the time. Just this week, we were talking about subsidized housing in Savo Island, and they said they're under pressure. They're under pressure now that if people don't use the subsidies, we have mixed subsidy issues. We have middle income and we have low income. 85% of the people are very low income. But the HUD is putting pressure now and saying, oh, if you don't use these subsidies, we're not going to do it anymore. In fact, the HUD representative in San Francisco actually said, for the last 20 years, HUD has built no subsidized housing. So I just wanted to check the reality of the federal situation and the national situation. And there is an emergency here, and there is an urgency as well for us to take advantage of this. So we need to step up. Good luck with this. Move forward. I'm certainly in favor of 100% of subsidized housing. I live in that. It has been very successful. We've been there for 40 years. Good luck with it. And in any way we can help, please let us know.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Baruki, and I live on Oregon Street. I've been there 25 years. I'm also part of the Ashby Community Garden, which is some disappearing open space, I think, and Transition Berkeley. So my question is, we obviously need more housing, but we also need more services. With Alta Bates Hospital, I'm surprised this hasn't been brought up, that we're in danger of losing a hospital in this area, and we're bringing in more people. The emergency preparedness plan, do we have an emergency preparedness plan for this area? Those are the things I want to see along with more housing. So that's it.
Hello, I'm Celeste McAllister. I live a couple of blocks down the street, and I like Berkeley the way it is. I don't want to maximize housing. I do want to provide some housing. I do want us to have low-income housing, but I don't want high-rises. I don't want people living in closets. So I would like to see the flea market stay. I would like to see low-income housing, because with affordable housing, you have to ask affordable for whom? Because if our minimum wage is $15 an hour, that's about $2,400 a month. And that won't get you a one-bedroom apartment in Berkeley. So our city workers can't live here, our teachers can't live here, our fire department and safety personnel can't live here. Our people who have grown up here are people who were born in the 50s. And I'm not that old. I expect to be around another 30 years, okay? But when I worked, I didn't make big money. And so my Social Security is based on that. And there are a lot of people in the community who are young, vital, active, and not going to die off and get out of their house, who need to be able to live and work in the community. Some of us do need to drive, so I want parking spaces at BART. I made the unfortunate, I came in one night from the airport and there were no taxis at BART, which was unusual. And I walked from BART over here at midnight with 2 suitcases. The Lord was with me. It was very quiet, uneventful evening, but because people got displaced in San Francisco does not mean we should be displaced in Berkeley. And it's not about the BART station, it's about Berkeley. So all of the market rate developers who want concessions, who want to pay out rather than building affordable housing, I would say our answer is no. Berkeley's full.
Good evening, I'm Tim Frank, and first I'd actually like to thank both the council members and the mayor and BART representatives for hosting this conversation. I've been very pleased with the tenor, and I think there's an awful lot of agreement in the crowd. Somebody earlier in the evening said that one of the challenges, one of the more difficult things to do with development is to get the equity constraint, and that's clear tonight. And I think one of the challenges is to make sure that we actually build an affordable, an inclusive neighborhood, and that we contribute to that. And I think, as Jesse noted, one of the constraints on that is that we just need funding to do that. And Berkeley has actually been a leader to put in place the first business license tax for landlords anywhere in the state that's directed for use on affordable housing. It was a pioneering piece of work, but that's just one piece of the puzzle. So the affordable housing bond that will be on the ballot this November, that's another critical piece. And I really appreciate the council taking the leadership to actually give us these kind of options. Now I want to take a moment to actually comment on gentrification. Berkeley has actually seen a lot of gentrification over the last 30 years, and if you look at what it's done, it's actually driven out a lot of the diversity in the town, and it's actually changed the demographics of our workforce. We used to have about 3 times as many blue-collar construction workers in Berkeley as we do now, but they've been priced out of town. And if you look at the neighborhood that actually today has the most remaining blue-collar construction workers, would be in South Berkeley. And one of the things we can think about is about doing to make sure that they don't get priced out of town is to make sure that the construction jobs that we create are actually good quality jobs. That these are decent union jobs that actually pay a decent middle class wage. Because that's how that class of worker will be able to remain in Berkeley. And that's something that's actually doable. BART actually has a remarkable record. They actually are doing development that has a very high inclusionary rate. They are doing development that is using union workers. This is a model that we should be trying to emulate, not just on the public land, but also on the private sides. And to the extent that we can find policy solutions that make that possible, I think that's a good goal for the city. And I really appreciate the fact that the council is interested in working on this kind of idea. And I'd be pleased to work with you. Thank you.
Hi, I actually live in downtown Oakland, and I'm here because my neighborhood is also gentrifying pretty rapidly in downtown Oakland. Part of that is because there's not a whole lot of places in the Bay Area that people are allowed to build. And I don't mean just like what's open space, but like legally what's allowed to build. So my ask, I guess, for the Adeline community and the Adeline developments going on here is that we try and maximize how much housing we can put here. Because what housing doesn't get built in the Adeline area ends up having to be built down in downtown Oakland. And that just continues to displace people and push people out. And I think you have to ask the question like, well, what's going on with Adeline in that direction? And if you look at North Berkeley BART, there's not a whole lot of affordable housing being built there or even proposed in the first place. And it's a ridiculously expensive place up there. So I think what we need to do in this is, demand that the most amount of housing gets built here so that Oakland doesn't get further gentrified, so that Hayward doesn't get further gentrified, etc. And we also need to ask North Berkeley BART to pick up their share of housing and make sure that they're not pushing development pressures onto Adeline that we don't want. It's very expensive up there, and we should be building maximum affordable housing in the most expensive places, like that. Adeline, of course, needs the most affordable housing. My other comment on this is, I'm a lawyer we're in training, so I absolutely love process. And there was a speaker who was here earlier talking about the process, so it goes on to the zoning board, that over time, these projects, you propose 100% affordable housing, it starts getting whittled down piece by piece by piece. And I would love to see, this process is great. There's a lot of involvement, a lot of input and democracy going on here. So it'd be great if we didn't have all this planning go to waste and have it turned into these little project by project fights where things get whittled down into nothing at the end. Because, all you people here made time to show up for this, you have the time, it's great, I love this, it's amazing. This process is going to keep running for a few more months, more people get involved. But how many people have the time to show up to a ZAB meeting on a Wednesday and stay until 2 in the morning? Well, the people who show up, that's who does, and they have an outside say in this, and I don't want to see everybody's views here trampled over. So I would love to see an expedient process in getting this done. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Susan Henderson. I'm here representing the Ed Roberts campus. So thank you for all of you who helped us get it built. Thank you very much. I just want to say that the ERC is with you. We want to see housing on both sides of Adeline and the Bart parking lots. We want to see far below income, low income and very low income housing built. We're with you on the 100%. We would start there. We also want to make sure it's accessible and there's no exclusions or waivers for people with psychiatric disabilities. That was shameful what happened on San Pablo, and I hope you will remember that. As we build denser housing, we rarely hear about the infrastructure that needs to go with it. You have more children, you need more school space, more libraries, you need more parks for them to attend to. More art programs. Equity includes having open space for people who are in denser spaces also. So remember that. I live in West Berkeley. I've been there for 28 years this month. And our park space is not the same as park space in North Berkeley. And it's not the same, in South Berkeley is not the same as park space in North Berkeley. So I'd like you to remember that as we go through the plan.
Good evening, my name is Daryl Bartlow. I've been in Berkeley since 1953. I live about 3 blocks east of Berkeley Bart Station on Ashby Avenue. What values and principles? Those values and those principles that don't have a negative impact on the people that are here should be the ones that are here too. If you're doing your talking and it ends up having a negative impact, then you need to think about throwing that one away. So the value and the principle, the ones that don't have a negative impact. Some effort should be made to keep the people that are here. And I'm talking basically about the African Americans. Why? Because at one time at our height, we had about 25% of the population lived down now. In some estimates, to about 6%. We even took a hell of a hit. And some efforts and some conversation ought to be around the ones that are still yet here, what we do to support them to remain here. Relative to the Bart flea market, it's not too much that we African Americans have that we can halfway lay some claim to in South Berkeley is that flea market. It's more than just for commerce and buying and selling stuff. It's a meeting place. It's a meeting place. It's a chance for people in the community to come together at the market square and discuss ideas that really have some relevance to their survival. You eliminate that, you're going to eliminate a forum where a lot of us can come together and share ideas for our survival. Thank you for your time.
My name is Edmund Broussard. I moved to Berkeley in 1961. My daughter Gia, who was here, went to Longfellow. She went to Berkeley High School, and she also went to Cal. Now, one thing I want to say, I bought my home in 1973 on Martin Luther King Way, so I've been here a good while. And as far as the flea market, my daughter will tell you, I don't think there's anyone in here They spend more time at that flea market than I do. But I'm gonna change the subject a little bit. When we talk about housing, one Sunday I got my movie camera and I went around Berkeley and I videoed all the apartment buildings that they're building here in Berkeley. Also, if you go downtown Walmart, you'll see a sign on a window, or at least I have it on film, they may have taken it down, that they want to tear that down and build an apartment. You go down the street where the theater is, they have a sign on that window. I have it on film, they want to tear that down and build an apartment building. My thing is, I went down to Grocery Outlet, it's not there no more. From one corner to the next corner, you got apartment buildings. You look at Spangler, they used to have a sign, I have that on film, where they want to put apartment buildings on that parking lot. Now, my thing is, we need low-income housing, but we can't accommodate everybody that comes to Berkeley. But the thing is, if we're going to build all these apartment buildings all over Berkeley, why we can't have some stipulations with the developers that a certain percent of them has to be for low-income people?
We do have.
I can sit here and talk a little while, but I'm not going to say too much because I'm a little nervous. But when you have time, just drive around Berkeley and look at all the buildings that we have, that they built, and tell me why a lot of those don't have, low-income people, facilities for low-income people. But as far as the flea market is concerned, Berkeley is supposed to have so much open space. And I'm going to say this. You take Fillmore District. They told them, hey, we can come in and do this. We're going to redevelop your area. And then what happened, they said, we're going to give you the first choice to move in. What happened? Once they build it, they come to you and say, you have first choice. But the prices are so high that you can't move. So what do you have to do? Go someplace else where you can. So I hear the talk, but I want to see action. In other words, put your mouth where, when you say you're going to do something, do it. Okay.
Hi again, I'm Mary Stackwoods. I just wanted to say really quickly that I gave birth at Alta Hospital 3 months ago to a very adorable baby boy named Dimitri Thomas Odin Stackwoods. And not only was he born in Berkeley, but his mom works in Berkeley every single day with Youth Spirit Artworks to fight against homelessness and to fight and help get the youth off the street into job training. But I want to break that cycle where it begins. I want to stop the homelessness, period. It doesn't matter if it's youth, it doesn't matter if they're senior, it doesn't matter if they're 1 or 2. I've been here for a very short amount of time. I don't know a lot about Berkeley. I remember when I was younger hearing about it so much. So when you guys think of, oh, should we do this? I need you to think about all of them. I need you to think about their grandchildren. I need you to think about their sons and daughters. I need you to think about my son. I need you to think about your future people. And think, is this the right choice? And will this benefit them or will it hurt them?
Well, excellent. Thank you for your comments. It's been a wonderful night here. Let me run through a couple of the things I jotted down here. This will all be compiled too into a master list, which we will be communicating and folded into the plan, and there'll be more meetings. But just tonight. So very clearly, we want to protect and enhance the flea market. We want to maximize the affordability of affordable housing and maximum affordable housing. The tenant benefits are economic development. We want to house youth and seniors. Strong support for the neighborhood preference law, which we passed last year, which we can talk about, is right of return. Support for open space, green space, traffic calming, walkability. Support for small businesses, the idea of a transit village. Zero net energy building, highlighting sustainability efforts, situation in Berkeley, you know we are committed to. Using art to enhance the area. A plaza-type public space. A 21st century town center, neighborhood building opportunity here. Berkeley scale development. And doubling down on the fact that time is of the essence if we want to control this process before the state takes it from us. Parking protection. This is, of course, always the issue, parking. Versus don't prioritize parking. That's going to be the drama playing out next year, I think. Funding for subsidized housing, new ways to fund, and another plug for our affordable housing bond. Please vote yes, and also vote for the transfer tax, please. 1,000 units, half of them subsidized, half of them not. A community process, much like the downtown plan that our mayor was a part of. Had lots of meetings and lots of people. Incorporating emergency preparedness into whatever we do. We have an absence of a hospital, possibly down the road, and of course, a growing population and a risk of fire. So we want to be prepared for whatever happens. Local hire, we want to make sure that our buildings are engines of growth for local people to work and learn a good trade and keep their families out of poverty. Building on both parking lots, that's the first time I've heard that. And accessibility, really driving home the fact that accessibility and, as you put it, physical accessibility is opposed to mental. So we have a good bunch of ideas here that all make sense, and we all support you. So I'll let the mayor say some words.
Well, I just want to say, I think tonight represents the best of Berkeley. That we were able to have a civil and really incredible conversation. And what I heard was a lot of commonality. What I heard was really three main things. One, we want to keep the flea market in South Berkeley. Yeah! Yeah! The other is that there's openness to developing housing on the existing parking lot. And I think the idea of the other parking lot is an interesting idea I've never thought of. And that the priority is affordable housing, truly affordable housing, which I think we share as well. And so going forward, we have the Adeline Corridor process that, as the planning director had mentioned, we're in environmental review. There will be a draft plan that's going to be out next year, early next year. But we will be working, Councilor Bartlett and I, working with the planning department and with Director Simon, to think about what additional process do we want to develop, to overlay with the Adeline Corridor, to further engage the community and the other critical stakeholders in starting to really dive deep into some of the ideas that were brought up tonight, to start developing planning concepts for the site that can inform future conversations with BART as part of any RFP that they'll do over the site. In the end, it's going to take a partnership with not just BART, but with the community to really make this happen. But you have my strong commitment, my strong desire, that let's make this happen. This is an incredible opportunity to not only create needed housing, affordable housing, to address the critical need for working families and individuals in our community, but also to really anchor and to further rebuild this neighborhood. For far too long, South Berkeley has got the short end of the stick, has not got enough investment focus from the city of Berkeley. I think this plan, the Adeline Corridor plan, and what we can do here on this parking lot presents a unique opportunity that we should really take advantage of working together. So thank you all for coming tonight. Let this be the beginning of an inclusive community process, and I don't know if the planning director would like to say anything. So once again, we will be in touch with you. Hopefully you all signed in. We're going to be working to try to develop the next step of this process, and we look forward to further engagement and input as we move forward. So thank you all so much.